we're starting with the WNBA. And DeMonte, get us started, if you will, please.
So WNBA legend Lisa Leslie weighed in on the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese debate, and she's actually said that they both deserve to win Rookie of the Year.
Why don't we give it all the rookies? Why,
yeah,
you know what? They're all trying. Why why have awards at all? Why even keep score? So, all right. So here's the deal. Not to be too self-congratulatory, we have nailed this every step of the way. When there was, I'm dating back years, when there was clear racism in the coverage of Angel Reese and LSU, we discussed it, we leaned right into it, and we didn't couch our words. When there was an obvious double standard in Caitlin taunting versus when anyone else taunted, we discussed it. When Angel talked about all the shit she's been through and on the internet, and some of my colleagues, said basically, buck up, kiddo, you talk trash, you got to deal with it. I said I thought they missed the boat on that and didn't totally understand what she was going through. We also told you 3 weeks into the season, when everyone was talking about, oh my God, the Caitlin Clark Olympic snub, that this would be the absolute best thing to happen for the Indiana Fever and to Caitlin Clark. Because the reason they were so bad early was because they were playing 3 games in 4 nights, back-to-backs all the time. Their schedule was front-loaded with all the best teams in basketball, in the WNBA, I should say. And we told you that after that brutal opening stretch, they had no back-to-backs left. They had no 3 games in 4 nights left. They got the softest part of their schedule post-Olympics, when Caitlin would be rested, adjusted, finally have time to breathe for the first time in probably more than a year, and she would go and light the league on fire. And that is exactly what's happened, okay? And there were a lot of people loud wrong on this. Now, some of them were loud wrong, in my opinion, out of UConn loyalty. And these are legends who were loud wrong. It doesn't mean they're not legends, but they were loud wrong. The idea that if you watched Caitlin Clark, and we'll get to the Angel Reese part of this in a moment, if you watched Caitlin Clark at Iowa with those teammates and thought, oh yeah, I mean, when she comes to the WNBA, she'll be fine, but she's going to have, her rookie season's going to be tough, and, she's not going to be an all-star level player. These are grown women. Then, in my opinion, you either don't fully understand basketball, but a lot of these people who were saying it, I know they understand basketball, so you are allowing your own allegiances, whether it's to university, other players, or whomever, to muddy your opinion. Gino Auriemma maybe knows more about women's basketball than any human being ever. He is certainly on the short list. Here is what Gino Auriemma said to my dear friend Dan Patrick early in the season when the Fever were struggling. Quote, "The kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality in the league, and she's a rookie. This rookie class isn't even one of the best rookie classes in the last 10 years. She's not built for the physicality of this league, and she's not quick enough to get away from the physicality." End quote. Wrong, 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 wrong. The girl is a superstar. A superstar. And is she a perfect player? No. Is she the best player in the league? No, that is clearly and unanimously A'ja Wilson. And that then brings us to the Rookie of the Year thing, which now, in my opinion, is a different example of people embarrassing themselves. folks have bent over backwards to try to explain why what Angel is doing, which is spectacular, is on par with what Caitlyn is doing, which is historic. And it's just not. Months ago, all of a sudden, folks decided, you know what should be the tiebreaker in a Rookie of the Year race in a team sport? Team record. Never heard that ever in my life, but that was a real discussion. Okay, but now that the team records are, Caitlyn's team is 17-16, one of the hottest and most dangerous teams in the league outside of, in the WNBA, listen, there are, in my opinion, I guess I have to include the Lynx. 3 awesome teams in the Liberty, the Sun, and the Lynx, and then a team that's won the last 2 titles and has the best player in the Las Vegas Aces, and a team that I think will be playing for a championship again in the Aces. I would separate those 4 teams from everyone else. The Fever are as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than any team outside of that group. They're now 17-16, and the Chicago Sky are 11-21. The Fever have won 4 in a row. The Sky have lost 6 in a row. So now we're not doing the team record thing anymore. And now we are now, and again, Lisa Leslie is a legend, which is why I find so much of this commentary so disappointing. Now what we're trying to do, I think, is not piss off the shitty corners of the internet. Because some of the worst people on the internet are stridently in different camps on this. Some of the people that don't care at all about the WNBA, but like the fact that there's this white girl that's kicking ass, are vocal Caitlin Clark supporters, and some folks that are flatly attacking anyone that gives Caitlin Clark her flowers, if you will, out of what would appear to be pure racial allegiance, are some of the most vocal Angel Reese supporters in this. And I think a lot of people don't want to get yelled at, so now all of a sudden we're doing participation trophies. Now all of a sudden we are going to try to pretend like Angel, who again is having a 91 out of 100 rookie season, is on par with Caitlyn's rookie season, which is one of the greatest rookie seasons in the history of the league, if not the greatest. And it's just embarrassing. Guys, we have to be able to have honest conversations about sports, even if it goes against some of our priors or some of our allies on the internet. And nobody with a straight face can say there is a real debate about who the most impactful or best rookie in women's basketball has been this year. It's Caitlin Clark. Angel's rebounding is spectacular, and she, again, I think some people go too far with it. They're like, oh, she's just rebounding her own misses. That's not true. Oh, she doesn't have a real impact because look at the team's record. That's not true. That team, when she's off the court, gets boat raced. When she's on the court, they play people even. But Caitlin Clark's arguably already one of the 5 best players in the league. Inarguably one of the 8 best players in the league. And we got to be able to say that. There should be 2 unanimous awards in the WNBA this year. The MVP should be unanimously to A'ja Wilson, every single first place vote. And Rookie of the Year should be unanimously to Caitlin Clark, every single first place vote. And if you are approaching this without your own preconceived notions or biases polluting it, then I think that's pretty obvious. I have found some of this to be really unfortunate. I think the whole Cheryl Swoops thing is not great. Now all of a sudden we have a Cheryl Swoops, Nancy Lieberman beef. These are two of the greatest all-time legends. I don't love that. How much of this has fallen down racial lines is just another, to me, kind of crack in our social fabric, if you will. How much of this has been exacerbated by bad actors on the internet? All of it. But what is not up for debate is that Caitlin Clark has been as advertised. And I'm really curious if some of the biggest skeptics or some of the loudest critics who early in the year, they had access to the same schedule I did. They had access to the same date I did. If some of those people, if they want to say either, my bad, I missed it, I got it wrong, I didn't see it, or if they want to say, I let my own allegiances, whether it be to UConn, other players, or strangers on my phone yelling at me, get in the way of my commentary. And so this can be a real celebration for the league. And it is very important for the league that it's not just Caitlin, that this whole rookie class, but Caitlin and Angel, are obviously the two standouts, that you do have potentially two players who are so different from each other, by the way. Caitlin's a range shooter, amazing passer, weak defender. Angel is the best rebounder in the league, or second best already. Very good defender who really needs to work on, honestly, just her shot within 5 feet. And she does that between this year and next year. And she's all of a sudden one of the best players in the league. And those two players being rivals and on ascending teams is great for the league. But man, oh man, the Fever are a dangerous team now. I mean, there's no denying it. You have the number 1 overall pick from a few years ago, from South Carolina. I don't know why I'm not thinking of her name. My apologies. Boston, who has been absolutely spectacular. Thank you, Aaliyah Boston. But no, who's been great. And quietly, or maybe not so quietly, Kelsey Mitchell is the one actually leading them in points. So you have 3 players on your team who can go for 20 plus any given night. Kelsey Mitchell's been outstanding. Aaliyah Boston, after a rough start to the year, is playing like the player that she was in college and the player we know she is. And Caitlin Clark's just getting better and better and better. And man, oh man, if you are one of those top 4 teams I was talking about, the Liberty, the Sun, the Lynx, and the Aces, you do not want to see Indiana in round 1. And I'm hoping, by the way, it's not Aces Fever in round 1. Because the Fever are the team I root for, but I am fascinated by Caitlin, and I want to see how far she can take this. I'd love to see that somehow in round 2. That if the Fever stay the 6th seed, I guess that'd be good. If the Fever don't catch the Storm, then in that case, they could only play in the final. I don't think they could make the final. It's going to be hard to get Fever Aces in these playoffs, but I want to see how far each of those teams can go. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show, and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.